Good morning, everyone. Welcome to FYI. For your information, I am Doretta Fernandez joining you this morning. It is Wednesday, the 4th of May, 2022. Guys, we cannot tell you how fast the days are going by. We cannot tell you how fast the actual.
Too fast.
I think you're hearing a song in the background, a little echo in the echo in the background. They're saying too fast. You know, we may see a visual from that echo a little bit later as we go along. But guys, I know that you have been up and about very early this morning. I'm starting you off. I'll be joined in a little bit, in a few by one of the co-hosts, Mr. Sherry Duncan. So don't ask me where is Sherry. I know the questions keep coming very, very early. Where is Sherry? I see you, each and every one of you out there. Let me know how you've been spending your weekends, what you plan on doing. I'm talking about weekends very early. Let me tell you why, because tomorrow is a holiday. I'll be back Friday before we go into the weekend. But tomorrow we're celebrating Arrival Day here in Guyana. So, folks, those of you who couldn't remember, tomorrow is the 5th of May, and we will be celebrating Arrival Day. So, we're going to be off air. So, we're going to be with you a bit this morning, more chit chatting as we go along. And I tell you, there's so much to discuss. But as we go along, I will invite you right now to share the stream. Make sure that you do your part as I do my part also. We all have to do it. To share the stream, make sure that everyone gets credible information. So I am going to be doing good. Great. Dawn, hey, how are you this morning, girl? I'm going to be following in the comments. I'm going to try to top in a lot of the Facebook comments, usually in the morning. The first set of people that are on are the folks on YouTube. We're so thankful for you every single morning. But I also want to touch base with the Facebook persons that are on early this morning. I see it's Marine Coppins William. It's just after 5 in Seattle, so I'm not up as Marine. You up? Marine, you are here online right now so much, and we're so thankful for you to be joining us this morning. I see Magnell Barrow. Magnell, so I heard his mouth just now. Yeah, Magnell.
Magnell, don't rush up.
He said, "Don't rush up." I guess you're hearing his voice very loud and clear indeed. I see Tessa Isaac Graves Zandy. Hey Tessa, how are you doing this morning? Tessa is saying blessings, sis, from Florida. So nice of you to join this morning from Florida. How's the folks in Florida? How's the weather out there, Tessa? Let me know what is going on in Florida. I see Pamela Nelson say good morning, MP, Doretta, and my FYI viewers, all credible viewers. Good morning to the FYI family. Credible viewers only, says the echo in the back, you know. I see Alana Tang is here with us this morning. Good morning to you, Alana. I like that surname, Alana Tang. There's a ring to that. I like it. I see Roxanne Andrews here with us this morning. This is good morning, MP, and everyone.
Morning, Roxanne.
Guys, we have so much to be thankful for. We got up, we're healthy, it's a bright morning. We thank God for life first of all before we go into anything else. So be sure that you do your part in giving thanks for the life, breath of life in your body this morning, and make sure that when you go out there, I know the weather in the city and so forth has been very bleaky, so I'll encourage you when you go out there to be extremely careful on the roadways. I know this morning as I was traveling to get to studio, I can tell you that we also saw an accident this morning. So not very good start for the day, but I'm telling you folks, make sure that when you go out there, you are careful. Take your time. You're never in so much of a rush that you risk actually losing your life or actually getting in an accident and causing harm or causing the life of someone to be lost also. I see Marlon Tommy is here this morning. Marlon said, listen, from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good morning to you, Marlon. What is going on over there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? You guys actually have a very nice is Minister of State, actually, Miss Peters, right? I met her. She's a very nice person. Kiesel Peters over there. I see this morning, I see Donna McDonald's here with us this morning. Hey, Donna, how are you? Good morning to you folks. all of you. Let me know if we have anyone joining us from Linden this morning. The Bartica folks, come in, please. I see Marlon de Young says good morning to you guys from France. France in the house this morning. Hey, France, good morning. All the folks that are joining us from France this morning. I see it's Vesta Hardy Rajkumar is joining us this morning also, saying blessed and safe day to the FYI family. Make sure that you go out there. We are a family that we have to look out for each other. Let's just start there. And in order to look out for each other and be good, give good advice, we have to say, you hear that rumbling in the background, that is that echo keeping noise, right? So any sound that you hear in the background, it's from the echo that you were hearing a little bit earlier. But guys, I was saying that we have to give advice to each other to make sure that we're safe. You know, we want this family to grow. We don't want to have any casualties within the family. And we want to make sure that when you go out there, you arrive alive, arrive safely, and make sure that you are here tomorrow morning again with us. I see we have Jacob Clark. Is it? Oh my God, that's not Clark. It's Jacob Creek actually with us this morning. I see missionary Joey De Freitas is joining us from the USA. Missionary, not Joey. When he usually asks this question, if you're an actual missionary, what's the name about? If you're not, let us know. Drop it in the comment section. A lot of questions based on the name this morning there, Joy. I see GT Boy is watching us this morning. Usually we have GT Boy and GT Rude Gal. So I'm just putting that out there. Cheryl Lawrence is here with us this morning, joining us from California. Folks join from California. I'll just put it out there that my relatives, like a whole lot of my relatives actually live in California. Some of them born and raised there their entire lives. I know one of them actually came back home just a few years ago to visit and went back. What California? I've actually never been there, but I have to go. I have to go visit some relatives. So I may touch base with you over there. I see Lizzie Simon is saying, God bless you all, FYI team. Thank you so much, Lizzie. Make sure that you are safe and you'll be productive this month. You know, we're in, like we said yesterday, we're into the month of May. But this is not a fair week for the FYI family. Let me tell you, we were on yesterday, we're on today, but we're only be having 3 working days this week because Monday was a holiday, and then tomorrow again is another holiday. So definitely gonna miss you guys tomorrow, but we'll be back. We'll be back on Friday to give you all the story, what brew over the day that we were missing. And we're gonna be using our brew a little bit more often, seeing as it's a morning program. Guys, we see Keith Dowling here with us this morning. Keith is joining us out of Barbados. Keith, how's it going over there? How is the weather over in Barbados this morning? I see is it I see in Koja joining, watching us from South this morning. Good morning to you. I know how this is weather there. You are in some wet weather this morning. Make sure to keep yourself warm. Make sure to keep yourself safe. Don't be walking around with your slippers and no water this morning early. I see Simona Williams is here with us this morning also. And there, there you have it. Who called me name? I die me corner drinking my water. I'm minding the PvP business. There comes GT Rude, y'all. Listen, you're not real family if you don't know the family by name. So I get up in the morning, I see GT Boy is here, so I know GT Rude, y'all. Gotta be somewhere in the comment section. So I'm calling you out early this morning because I know family like you, we always there. Okay? So a little rumbling in the background again, guys. You know, you're gonna see that face of the rumbler. You're gonna be able to ask your questions yourself before that individual comes on to represent the background noise. I see Akin Hercules is here this morning. Also, Matthew Dennison. Good morning to you, Matthew. I see a missionary is actually responding to that. Missionary said, yes, I am a missionary that does charitable work in Guyana for the past 12 years. Guys, this is why you ask the questions, you know, because I did not know this. So it's actually so nice to know that. So we have with us missionary Joy De Freitas is saying that this is a missionary that does work in Guyana for the past 12 years. The most interested, I think I'm going to be. I think my co-host is going to be on in a bit. Let me give him some space, guys, as he rocks and coming. You have to rock and coming. You can't just coming. You have to rock and coming.
Morning, guys. Morning.
So-
Sorry to be late. You're having all the fun without me.
Yeah, but I was asking because we asked about this before, missionary Joey De Freitas, and I just learned that he's actually a missionary
Oh, wow.
working out of Guyana that has been doing work here for the last 12 years.
Wow. And
So
we
that
have
is
missionaries there.
That is something for somebody that I would love to reach out to
Yeah.
see the work that was done and see how
Yeah.
I can assist with that moving
See if
forward.
he's worth his salt.
Yes, but it's so good to have you with us, joining us this morning, and it's always a blessing.
Yeah, all the missionaries.
To see persons and to interact with persons that are out there giving aid themselves to the cause. Yeah,
so happy with that, and happy to be here. But guys, as Judy said, tomorrow is a holiday.
Yeah,
right, and we're gonna be taking our holidays because rest is important, recharging is important.
Yeah,
Tweaking some stuff at the back end too is important, and those rest days as well, quote unquote rest. And we really salute all the people who came.
Yes.
Right, book 1 and 2, all the people who came, because if it wasn't for whatever was happening in that period.
They just said book 1 and 2, the people who came.
Book 1 and 2. Who made it possible for us to be here.
Yeah.
Right, and I hope Irfan Ali works in his speech last year. It didn't go so well.
My goodness, I could remember that.
Some of us didn't come for betterment. Some of us were brought.
Yeah.
Some of we were brought here. So
yeah.
I would hope, that's my advice, that the president takes some time and go over those.
Go
over the speech a couple times.
The people who came.
Yes, the people who came.
But book 1 and 2.
Right, but I really want.
We should send it over a copy
really
to him.
I want to salute the people who came.
Yeah.
From all over. Whether it was the Chinese who came, the Portuguese who came, the Africans, the indigenous brothers and sisters who came. When my son was doing what do you call it? The lower level exam.
Indigenous is a little different.
What do you call it?
I'm not gonna go past this.
School.
I'm not gonna go past this indigenous who came part.
They're
indigenous to the land.
Yeah. No, but I mean, but the Armenians who came and were indigenous thereafter. Or the Indians.
You're gonna get technical with that.
I remember, because I was listening to him talk about where they traveled from and the whole history about the ice bridge and
the Bering Straits and
the
all
Bering
of those
Straits
things,
and all of that.
Yeah.
And we had quite an experience getting here, all of us, different routes, but we're here nonetheless, and we've been trying to make the best of it since then.
But one of the things that I want to acknowledge also is the fact that we're getting to a point that persons are so mixed up and integrated that there's a lot of historical paths that has crossed over. Like my ancestry is so mixed up. Like my father's indigenous, but my mother is more mixed up. French, European bloodlines from my mother, but my father is indigenous. Like that. So like my heritage is a little bit more.
And you try to understand how come we have a race problem in this country, because we all are so mixed up.
Like how, right?
We all are so mixed up. I mean, if you see my nephews, they're here as straight could be.
As
right?
my relatives does not look like me. My relatives don't look like me.
Narayan, another aunt married Singh. We all are mixed up people. So it's interesting to see this whole thing we have about race and who live on which side of town and which village and all that, because really and truly, none of us really belong here. Even the folks who are indigenous now came from somewhere. We all came from somewhere. Some against our will, some became indentured laborers, some, were wanderers who were passing through and left. Like some people who come by your house and they just left.
But it's how your blood, it's how your heritage can be so could be watered down. So. As the generations go by, because I was just mentioning the fact that someone's journey is from California this morning. I was mentioning the fact that I have so many relatives living in California. They don't look like my relatives. Some of them looks like they've been that they're completely completely European. That's how they look.
Yeah.
Blonde hair, blue eyes. So that's my blood relatives. And then I have some folks here that my cousins would have gotten married to like Africans, and so I have relatives here as dark can be. And how do we have that's why I can't have a race problem.
Let me share something with
our
you.
bloodline is so diversified right now. Like, I don't understand where the race problem comes from.
My mother's father, John Henry, God rest his soul, left like so many Guyanese. He was part of that Windrush generation in the UK. And, you know, John Henry lived about 30 years of his life in the UK. When he lived here, he worked at Sandbach and Parker. I think that was one of the big companies back then, a British company, and lived in the UK for about 30 years. Was married to a Caucasian woman, or what we know as an English woman, a traditional white Caucasian English woman, and had children that look as Caucasian could be, but their father. So we would have relatives who look Caucasian as Caucasian could be, and it's just how it is really and truly. Whoever framed that phrase, global village, because we are all interconnected. And just think about it: Sharon Eastman and Claudette Bovel Lewis and Whiskey Session and Idol Rodney and all the other folks that you had. Look how we are connected. That's the point I want to make. One woman, patient zero, brought COVID-19 here. Right? And COVID-19 could be found in the far-flung, deep south Rupununi. You know about Upper Mars and Lower Mars and all those places. And one woman, but look how all of us are connected in some way, came into contact, rubbed shoulders, and COVID just spread.
Yes, my goodness.
One woman.
We spoke about that.
Never knew
we spoke about that.
Just think on a daily basis how the interactions we have connect to other people in one way or the next.
Now, how it even got here, it started one place.
One place.
And then the entire world.
That's global village for you.
That's the global village.
That is the global village for you. And how we're all interconnected. So when we talk about race, you know.
Somebody's joining us from the Bronx.
How do we get there? Edward Gonzalez from the Bronx. Keyboard stick.
Edward Gonzalez. That's an iconic comment from you. From the Bronx.
Yeah. Connected world. You see, we connected through social media. Right? To Edward and Shirley, Sheila Boyd Child, and GT Road Girl, and you know, Candy, you know, whether it's Skeldon, it is and people are joining us more and more from some far-flung places in this country. We love that, you know, Little Kanubali yesterday, Port Kaituma, you name it, and it's going to even get more connected. You see, as what was so expensive and rare, broadband and so on, as those things become cheaper and they are rolled out in more places when we go back into government, even more places, we become even more more connected.
I see Isabella Butters is saying, guys, I got to rush off to work.
Oh, you're rushing off?
Isabella, I know you're going to come back and look at the program,
have a fantastic
the rest
day,
of it later.
Isabella.
But
really hope
be
you have
safe.
a day.
Be safe out there. When you go off to work.
Take it easy this morning.
I see Agradella and Marsh is with us this morning. Said yes. You know, so I see Georgia on the live this morning. Desiree Simon, Liverpool is joining us from Georgia. But you know, as tomorrow, I think it's very important for us to have these discussions as to who we are, where we came from.
Ricardo Charles says, I'm just loving the vibes. FYI family. Yeah.
Thank you, Ricardo. Now, I want persons to actually reflect. I think it's important for us to reflect. A lot of times, we don't do something called, when it comes to your family tree and tracing your ancestry altogether. Because I believe when a lot of us start to trace our ancestry, where we came from and how we got here, then a lot of people start thinking differently, you know, and stop at a lot of things that they say, another perspective that they believe they should hold on to. Because the way in which we are right now, the people who we are, we just didn't happen. We didn't drop from the sky. There is a history that unfolded to get us to the point of actually having the possibility of being into existence, right? And we needed to acknowledge where we came from. We need to acknowledge the struggles of our foreparents. We need to acknowledge, and we need to. I believe one of the most important things when we're looking at history is to try to put yourselves in the place of those persons there. with the limited access to information and all of those things that they had to deal with.
Imagine that.
All right. And try to think about the fact that they did their best as at that time to survive under whatever circumstances they each had to survive. And I think we have to approach, especially when we're looking at Arrival Day, with an understanding and appreciation for the history that brought us to where we are today. And I know, you know, we owe it so much to those people for the very fact that we have life, not just that we have life, because we could have easily had life, but it's a type of life that you have, you know.
It is just, you know, when you think about life and you think about your own existence, I mean, we don't often think about the me, the I, in a very reflective way that says, where did I come from? You know, Judy was telling me early on about her daughter writing literature, and a great book I did for 6 years, White Sargasso Sea, White Sargasso Sea. And one of the characters in the novel, she often said, I often wonder, where do I belong? Who are my people? You know, these were the Creoles in Haiti. You know, you have white, you have black, not accepted by the whites, not accepted by the black, you're no man's land kind of thing. And we are much like that. You know, when I think of my own family, my great-grandfather, believe it or not, I can give you a shocker now, my great-grandfather came from Hong Kong.
My goodness.
Right?
Sure, you got a...
My great-grandfather had a salt good shop. Mr. Chung, C-H-E-O-N-G, my grandmother's maiden name is Chung.
Wow.
Right? And, you know, her mother a little hot. And going 1, 2, 3 times, I don't know if things are tight back then or what. But she and the Chinese man had something going and produced my grandmother.
Just imagine that.
Just imagine that. He came from Hong Kong. Right? My mother was a young nurse working in some of the remote parts of this country when she was young. Met a fella in a place called Matthews Ridge, right? Who had lots of Amerindian in it, still has in him. But look at the confluence, like most of us.
Look at the
confluence.
That is what we have to understand.
Some indigenous blood. We got East Indian in our family. Look, and who are us? We talking about who is black and who is Indian in this country. But we don't even know who we be.
That is the
we
point.
Don't even know
that
who
is
we
the
are.
point.
You know,
we need to do so. I want us to get a point in this.
We don't even know who
in this
we are.
world in which with just a mere sampling of your blood and your DNA all together that you can literally put
some
together.
People
some people would lose their mind.
Some people go shocked. No, but the point I want to make too is a large one because you did talk about it. I have been doing that. I often talk to my aunt in the US and ask because they have the family history. They know. That's how I know my great-grandfather came from Hong Kong because they know this. This is part of the family history. And I make a note. I actually have a family tree, literal tree that I'm building, writing down names. Jarita's daughter is this body. She gave birth to this body. And plotting that family tree.
You have
and
to. You have to. You have to.
It's so important because we're fascinating people, right? Just 6 people. And then when you mix that 6, you get 12. And then when you mix that 12, you understand me? And that's how we are diverse, beautiful people.
You literally have to track it because it's important for you to understand how you are, your genetics. Genetics is a marvelous study. And I think it is necessary. Like when you just said you're tracking persons and you have persons come from Hong Kong. You know, it's just amazing how all of that was put together to make you know, whatever persons were exposed to, all of those things, your genetic
and
makeup
absolutely
creates
right.
yourself.
Because in my immediate family, Gene, they aren't very tall people. But when I see my great-grandfather's photograph, he was one tall Chinese fellow.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
Wow.
He was a tall Chinese fellow. My mother's not tall. My father isn't tall. Right? Unless...
Unless you gotta go do some testing.
Who am I? Where do I belong? White Sargasso Sea.
That's crazy because in tracking our own history and all of that, like I said, my father's indigenous. My father's indigenous to these lands in Guyana, right? But when it comes to my mother's side of the family, she's a whole different story because we have tracked our ancestry. We have tracked from to go in Germany. We have tracked to Jerusalem and those places. So
Penelope says good morning to her handsome nephew. Please and thank you.
oh, lovely.
And her beautiful niece.
Good morning,
morning,
to you.
Penelope. Good morning.
Yeah, but that's how
Yeah,
how my
yeah.
my ancestry. That's how I trace it all together. Like Germany,
We mix
like
up. We go
Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. Like three brothers literally made their way from Germany, with all that was happening with Hitler and all of that, that timing to Guyana. Three brothers literally came here, and that was the
Yeah.
possibility
You know
of
what?
my
You know what?
being here
I
today.
recommend, I can't remember the exact theme of the book, but there's a book by Professor Winston McGowan, fascinating read. And he delves into some of that, the different people who came and who came from where and all that, because lots of that too is bound up in church history in this country, the
True.
Methodists and where they came from, and the Episcopalians and so on. And lots of that is during that era, coming to Christianize the indigenous people and all of that. So lots of that influx. I found it as a fascinating book.
But I encourage you, as we discuss this ourselves, as we discuss it right now, I encourage persons. Arrival day is tomorrow, and when you wake up tomorrow, I think we need to wake up with the understanding and appreciation that there are things about our own heritage and history that we ourselves don't yet know and understand. And when you think like that, I think you will have a more tolerance, appreciation, and understanding
Monica says,
to different persons and their heritage.
Monica says we all mix, we're all cook up. I see somebody there talking about Sue. Let me hear this one out. Maxine Monroe says, I am very happy that it's not Sue bloodline. MP Duncan. I like that. But we all came from somewhere, and that's the important thing. And we can give tribute to that. One of I mean, I think I close up now with kids and so on. Right?
I'm not closed off yet. I'm sorry, I have two daughters, I need a son.
One of the things I wanted to do was to pay tribute to my Chinese heritage and give one of my kids a Chinese middle name. Something simple. Not Sue, but to pay tribute to that, because it's a huge part of our lives. Because hadn't that Chinese fella, met that woman, my grandmother,
you would have not been possible.
And let me tell you all this, something I used to laugh at when I was a child. My aunt lived and worked in Southern Africa for a little bit, and she said, sometimes when how we tend to say some people are backwards. Sometimes you see Trinidadians do something and say, I think we backward, but they're worse than we. So when you see some Africans operated, thank God for the middle passage. So wake up tomorrow, you might be thankful for the middle passage. You might be thankful for the Kalapani, the black waters in which the East Indians had to cross to come to this side of the world. You might be thankful for
There's a reason why they came, and especially when it comes to Indian, the history as it comes to indentured laborers and the fact that persons actually made a decision and a choice to come. So they were looking for a better. They were looking.
When I think with some people, they could have left a couple of them. They had to bring up. They're gonna leave a couple of them, They're gonna leave a couple.
But we have to live
rich heritage. That's
we
what
have to live
Very
with the appreciation.
Where y'all come
and
from?
Understanding.
Y'all know where y'all come from? Some of y'all who talking about black people. Y'all be shocked when y'all get DNA test to find out 80% black. I can see some of y'all. I done with this. I can't lie. You tell me I'm 80% black, I done with this life. Some of y'all who don't like Indian people, I can see 70% Indian. Bauji, how you doing?
Well, it's crazy. Yeah. I think to myself, is the society conditioning to your mind to believe that you should be more willing to participate with a certain group of people. It's just crazy because we as a country, we are so integrated. As a country, it is so necessary for us to understand that these fights,
Maureen says, you are not the father in my Jerry Springer. Maureen, what prompted you want to start this morning? What prompted you want? I had one experience. The last thing I say before if she has anything else.
Maureen, so she has 3 daughters. They all look like me. You see, Maureen?
Last thing I want to say is that I lived in not Virginia. I lived in over the river a little bit.
You forgot where you lived. This is not
Where
good.
was that?
Old age, science.
I'm trying to remember where it was, but over the river. But I remember one day I was walking to a shop till down at the back of the village, and I was waiting to be sold, whatever I was buying.
Mhm.
And they had two Indian women standing up talking. And I remember thinking, am I in this country? The Creole was so deep. I honestly thought they were talking Chinese.
I want you to hold that point and read Yvonne's comment.
Yvonne the Weaver says, I am British white and Ethiopian. Right?
In 1856, to Guyana lived in BV.
Yeah. So her four parents, right? We mix up. So when we see this big fighting in the comment section,
I see
some of my cousins-
Natasha is saying I did a DNA test recently and I have Scandinavian heritage as well as African and a
you
few
see,
others.
we mix up. GT Road girls.
I think persons
right?
need to go
Anybody
take this test.
mix with Jumbie Bird? Yeah. Treat let me move on. When the boarding papers. Anybody mix with Jumbie Bird? That's what you want to do. Anybody claiming a kind of heritage?
It's a lot. Listen, we had to go into this conversation. I
Yeah,
think
so happy rival day.
Tomorrow
Happy
being
rival day.
arrival day, I
Yeah.
think it's necessary for us to tell you guys, don't just wake up and think you know who you are. Don't look in the
Yeah.
mirror and believe that the reflection that you see there is the actual true reflection of
Yeah.
the DNA that runs through your blood.
Yeah.
So be cognizant of that fact that there's a little bit you are ignorant to when it comes to your heritage. And once you're Guyanese, I say that we have been through struggles together as a
It's
people.
true.
Our history,
Right?
we have
No,
gone
it's
through
been a struggle.
struggles as a people. We continue to go through struggles as a people.
Yeah.
I see every single race. Once you are not in a specific class, social class, you are in the same struggle together. And when we have that appreciation for each other and the similarities of the struggles that we're in, I think we begin to think a little bit differently. But culture, the way in which you culturize yourself and all of that is very important. Make sure that you mix with people that are very tolerant and understanding to history and to life altogether, and remove yourself from situations which people are just toxic, and those persons that are bent on continuing down a divisive pathway for the country. We have no place in Guyana for that. But
Yeah.
let's go into our morning papers all of that.
Morning papers. Lots happening. We can leave the third item for the big issue because that correlates there.
Okay.
But what's happening? Barbados?
All right, when it comes to the morning papers, one of the first things that I noticed is that Guyanese jewelers in Barbados to start work on the gold jewelry hub. And this is something that I think is going to be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the businessmen who are actually going down that path. But I think it's something that I encourage. And I always say, once there's an opportunity, just grab hold of it. You see that opening there. So anyone that is in Barbados, the jewelers in Barbados, I know that a lot of persons value Guyana's gold is a different quality of gold altogether. I'm from Bartica region, so I'm sorry. I deal with this a lot.
I was about to say that.
And
You could talk whole day with mining and gold.
I could talk. This is a conversation I could
that's
have.
one of our
in my
fortes.
sleep. This is in my sleep.
One
And
of
then you
our
grew up
fortes.
knowing this. So to know that the end product, the value added, is at such a point that persons in Barbados, in collaboration persons here in Guyana, they're forming this hub. It's a good path. When I believe that I see Stephen Jacobs in the middle of all of that. I know he's been doing a lot of work when it comes to gold and jewelry altogether. So kudos to those persons and Guyanese out there in Barbados joining us. If you are gold jewelry in Barbados, you can make sure that you actually just link with that hub and see how best you can benefit and actually add value to your business. But most interesting as we go on in morning papers,
to keep our program going, we accept gold.
I was wondering what Sharon was going to add there just a little bit, but whatever.
Cash, kind, gold,
whatever that would have been. Cash, kind.
Yeah, we try to be an equal acceptor.
Sir, I have to, because Sharon mentioned this, there's a lot of research when it comes to gold. You would notice, guys, like when you store in value in gold, it's actually very advisable for persons to do. You have a bit of money, a lot of persons go save and put currency in the bank and so, but there's a lot of people, prestigious business people in this world that would store the value in gold because of the fact that when you have so many aspects, so many influencers to the value of your currency, gold remains more stable throughout time. So that's just a point for you to note. So you could just go buy something and just put it in somewhere, you know, safety deposit box, and you good to go. So this is a little bit of a safety net for yourself, I'm just saying. And one of the second thing is most interesting, sirens, flashing lights not allowed on private security vehicles.
Wow, interesting.
Sirens and flashing lights are not
Every
allowed.
week we hear about this, but like nobody listening.
And I see senior security officials urge firms to comply with established rules and regulations.
Everybody, but like nobody listening, because you still see it all the time. You know, you in traffic and there are people zooming by you. You know, the other day I was parked somewhere and I heard a siren coming. So I always look to see is which one of them boys coming through, right? And honestly, I didn't see the vehicle yet because you know you're looking for a particular type of vehicle. I saw some vehicles pass me. I couldn't identify. Say, this is a police vehicle, but I know there were sirens. I heard the song going by. I saw vehicles pass me. I didn't see an identifiable diplomatic vehicle or what might look like a government vehicle or an ambulance. I just heard sirens, so it looked like as though it was a private kind of car, you know, with sirens. And you see it all the time, flashing lights. If it's not sirens, it's the flashing lights.
You know, what is strange about it is that whilst I remember that it was Moses Nagamuto was the prime minister of the country when I heard so much rumble in the National Assembly about his convoy actually using a siren, something that should be done as for the prime minister of the country. And I see now today, as we're seeing it, we see siren on everything.
It's the same people.
It's just a little bit before the same people. As we're just moments away from somebody putting a siren on a horse cart.
And it must be guided by something.
Anywhere, a bicycle.
I couldn't remember diplomatic vehicles having flashing lights on it.
Oh.
Right? I mean, I would think maybe somebody like the chief citizen, the mayor, might have flashing lights, might be afforded sirens, but that's not the case, for whatever reason. But I see diplomatic vehicles now, lights flashing, you know, and coming through.
I've seen the thing is about a siren, and I just want to say the danger in it altogether is because when someone hears a siren, there's a certain level of seriousness that should be associated with that song. When you hear a siren, just move to the corner. It's an emergency, basically. And even police officers
or a VIP
should not have on their sirens just because they're going to get the lunch. You put on the sirens because they don't want to wait in the line. You know, all those things are not acceptable. But when you hear that song, it's supposed to be associated with emergency, a sense of urgency. So you pull to the side. What's happening now is that persons are very conscious of the fact that anybody and the grandmother got a siren on on their vehicle. So when people hear the siren song, they're more reluctant to comply with pulling over to the side and all of those things. And because of that, actual cases of emergencies may be hampered because of that right now. So it's something that they need to take control of. You can't just continue down that path like that.
You know, you were saying talking about the Prime Minister's sirens, and we must have the Prime Minister on to catch up with him, former Prime Minister Moses Nagamuto. At some point, we must have him on.
Yes.
And if you're listening, sir, please and thank you.
Moses Nagamuto is
please and thank you.
I have to attribute a lot of my exposure in politics to himself, Kemraj Ramji. And you know, there's some people that give you that opportunity.
True mentors,
right?
Political mentors.
They give you that opportunity to actually have a go at this. You know, they had this faith in you before anybody else even knew you existed. And those persons are people that I look to with great respect and admiration for giving me that opportunity to actually work and show that I'm capable of doing it.
So you're talking about his sirens, and I remember I think it was just the Prime Minister, the President, and for whatever reason, the Minister of Public Security, now Home Affairs, were afforded sirens.
Yes.
But now it is so commonplace. And that is the challenge. And you know how we're different as people? You know, sirens in this country don't mean move out the way, no. Sirens means go to the back of me and follow the sirens. Because when the sirens come through, I see a whole set of cars trying to beat the traffic and driving behind the sirens. Yeah. It's mind-boggling.
Persons do some things that is unacceptable. I've seen persons do exactly that even with ambulances.
Yes.
The ambulance is going through, and instead of persons pulling to the side, they
They pull to the side to follow the ambulance.
To follow the ambulance, and then they're going to put on their hazard lights and
Yeah.
follow through. That
So
is,
you can have 3,
that
4
is-
vehicles.
Not only is that
It's mad.
illegal, that is dangerous. It's
We're so
extremely
different in
dangerous.
this place.
Yes.
Not
But
all of us, but quite a few.
But I want us to understand, and we have to acknowledge the fact that the lawlessness at that level comes from the fact that there's lawlessness at the very top.
Yeah.
The very fact that persons know that when they hear a siren right now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a serious situation or emergency altogether. That it could be someone just going through because they are of a particular
Yeah.
social class.
It could
and they
be the
believe
maid,
that they
could be the, could be-
afforded the right
Let me
to
tell you
barge
something.
through like that.
Let me tell you this. So yesterday I was in Camp Street and heading towards Regent Street in Camp Street, and there was a police car parked right as though you're coming to South Road on that side, the opposite side of the road, right in the corner there in front of the mall. A police car, flashing lights, and it was sitting there. So I'm thinking, this, they're watching traffic. Anybody who's trying to beat, the traffic to head over quickly, at the corner there, right? Spent a little time in the line there because that junction is a little chaotic. You think they'd be trying to bring some relief there, and I was just there long enough to notice a woman came running with a pizza and jumped in the back of the car. Right? That is not a traditional parking spot because it's on the corner. The police car was parked there. Right? And then a woman came running from Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut is in Regent and just in the junction there too. Running from Pizza Hut and jumped in the back seat. I was like, wow, the different here. It's a police car, not on official duty, clearly, could be parked on the turn, lights flashing, right? Picking up pizza, express service. Wow.
I'm disappointed in you. Where's the footage for this?
Right? I want to know, where's this pizza car? You see, I wasn't prepared for it because I thought the people doing legitimate work there. You understand me? So I ain't got no camera out. There's a woman come running with your pizza. I never had express service. I would be interested in procuring that kind of express service. But folks, in international news, if you guys have been following, the Met Gala happened recently, and you all know
Yes.
it's like the fashion capital of the world. And when the folks were showing me some of this, I said, there's one interested. I'm interested in all the rest.
You try. I think we differ on
Right?
this, but go ahead with your
Right?
interest.
I think Judy would like this.
I don't know.
You all
I
know
don't
the Met Gala?
I don't know. I don't know
Right.
which interested
The
you.
Met Museum in New York holds a gala, and it's like a fashion thing. You try to be
I know the Met
outrageous.
Gala. I'm
I'm
saying
just
that.
talking to the other folks.
Oh, good. Be very
Right?
direct.
And I'm saying that I thought Judy would like this year, right?
Let me see.
Met Gala.
Well,
Who shared the live
Please
stream?
don't share it.
Who's
Upset
smashing
me
the
this
emoji
morning.
button? Because I say, if I see this in a different version and cost, especially, I can see my wife pulling this out.
Let me see what it is.
Met Gala, folks. Well, sorry, the big jummy bird in action. FYI.
For your
FYI.
information. I don't think
Rock
this-
and come in GPL. The power and thing strong. You see that?
Okay.
It was worth the wait. So this is one of the
Who is
outfits.
that?
It's a dress, but it's some
No,
it's-
but
it's
who
really-
is that?
Oh, so this is let me see if I get the name correctly. Let me give the young lady the
Yeah,
attributes.
you can't actually do Met Gala
Yeah.
without saying who it is. You know?
So let me. This is Vanessa Hudgens.
Oh, that's Vanessa Hodgkin. I
Yes,
didn't
in an
see that.
elegant black. Richard, this might make more sense to you. Machino, Moschino, Moschino, Moschino gown, right? And she says it is gaudy, meaning gothic, witchy fantasy. It is gaudy, witchy fantasy. Vanessa Hodgkins. Yep.
Yeah, well, she looks good enough, but a lot of times when I am not let me just start by saying this.
Mhm.
I am
Start
not
by saying what
really
you say.
I'm not really a fashion person. I get up in the morning. It's a struggle for me to comb my hair and put
Mhm.
myself together. I try to be as decent as I possibly can be. But when it comes to the extreme fashion that some persons actually
We all think, guys.
right? That's not me. I don't think it's gonna ever
You don't think-
be me,
Mhm.
but I like black. I like to see. I like persons to express themselves when it comes to fashion. I
But
commend that.
but if it's John's liking, John Doe, of course.
But John has I think John has a thing about it. He thinks he's very in touch with a sense. He has a good sense of fashion. I think sometimes he believes that, oh, he can advise me on like, oh, this is gonna look good on you or stuff like that.
So
right?
that's the point you're making. If this is John's thing now, if you know.
It depends on where, I guess, because
The Met Gala. I mean, have you seen it recently? You gotta wear now. You gotta wear. It's how you feel.
Yeah, persons do
How you
different
feel.
things, but
Right.
there are certain. I think fashion is
So much for Roe v. Wade.
But I'm saying all of that to say that yes, that particular dress there seems to be more it caught your interest to be for starters. But there was another one, and persons could go check it for yourself. And anyone that follows the Met Gala would actually know of Blake Lively's dress, and Blake Lively's dress was the talk of the Met Gala altogether, and the transformational aspect of the dress. It came to the bow, and then it was loose down. And the nice part about it is that she was there with her husband,
Was
and
a
he was
bow,
like,
folks. Was a bow.
and she was like, oh my God, he had this jaw dropping moment when he saw the transformation of her dress. So everyone says she understood the assignment, and she came and she showed up and she showed out. So we could have been doing some Met Galas comparison where so I give it to Blake.
Yeah. Maybe we need a local Met Gala. Maybe there's something that we can organize.
Well,
Shoot it down like smash emoji button.
Sonia Noel has been doing a lot of work when it comes to fashion and representing fashion in Guyana altogether. So when it comes to those specific things, I give it to the expert, and I am not going to go inserting myself. There's Sonia Noel, you're the expert, girl.
Rock and come in.
You gotta deal with this.
Rock and come in.
That's not my area. I'll go if you said looks good. I'll say okay.
Moving on.
As we move
if you
on,
say so.
folks. As we move on.
You know what we've been following, Drita? Some of what has been happening in the BVI, right? And we see now that CARICOM is backing the government, backing the current administration there, saying that there should be no direct rule from the UK. Remember we were talking about that?
Yes.
Andrew FYI was arrested, the premier and all that, and what's going on with the drug bust with him and the Port Authority woman and her son and all of that.
Yeah.
Right? This guy is looking, let me make sure I get his name correctly, do him justice in that way. He's the Deputy Premier, Dr. Natalo Wheatley. Well, of course, he would love to become Premier, and he is getting the backing and supporting from members of the administration there. And of course, again, CARICOM saying that they're backing the stance that the BVI is taking, not to have this direct rule from Britain, because it's a different time. It's just a different time.
Well, my thing is well, first of all, let me just say the CARICOM, I expected nothing less from CARICOM. I can just put it over like that. That is the whole point in persons actually being part of CARICOM. When these situations arise, because it is absolutely impossible for anyone to have any understanding that, because of this situation with the premier, then you're going to have this interference from Britain. I can say as someone living in Guyana, we have come a far way when it comes to being led and ruled by colonial leaders. For you to take all those steps backwards, too many persons have dedicated their sweat and blood to the cause of persons moving forward and away from that type of leadership for them to be even a conversation about it. I thought it was extremely ridiculous for the conversation even to be circulating right now about us taking steps backward as a sister CARICOM country. Obviously that CARICOM stepped in, rightly so.
And maybe we got nobody here who could carry this thing forward. I mean, that's where we are.
No, one person. This person made a mistake. What does that have to do with the entire country? Are you serious? That is not an acceptable.
It was Errol Barrow, former Barbados Prime Minister, who said when our constitution was suspended by the British in 1953, he says no nation, however powerful, can drop an indictment against an entire people, and which goes exactly what's happening there.
But this person has done wrong, so we should.
No, but it's not. It goes a little further than that.
I know it goes further, but that was a tip of the
COI.
That was a tipping over.
I understand some of the troubles here because you have that COI that says that there is systemic corruption. Much like here, we might probably need some leadership too from the British to be.
But the thing is, and I want to say that from now, because the thing is, once, and that is the problem. It is the actual precedence.
Where does this start?
Good. There's the precedence, and that's why you have to stand up. It may not be something that is bothering Guyana, but you have to stand up, because like we always say, everything is so integrated that nothing will just stop there at one point, and it should never be accepted that everybody stand back and say, oh well, let them deal with that. Oh, there was a COI and there's systemic corruption and all of that. We come to Guyana, there's systemic corruption in Guyana. What are you going to do? You're going to come back? No. You can tell me there's systemic corruption in Guyana all you want. I'll tell you that we here have to fix it. We don't need somebody else to come and fix it. We here have to fix the system as is, because that's the whole point of independence. So I'm very strong on that.
While that's happening there, Judah, in Bermuda, they had a huge explosion of an apartment building, and people are like, what? What's happening here? Right? And, investigations are still ongoing. One person died and 4 have been hurt when this apartment block exploded. I mean,
just like that.
Just like that.
Well, I know every time I speak about Bermuda, it's on the basis of speaking about the Bermuda Triangle. And every time I hear about like the Bermuda Triangle, like I am like, you want to explain the wonders. I know like there are several school of thought when it comes to science and explanation given as to why there were so many disappearances there and all of that. So now when you say that this building exploded in Bermuda, it's like I'm thinking that probably needs some more persons in there dealing with that.
So you're saying that is like the same thing?
I don't know. I haven't gone through the details of this explosion there, so I would not be able to actually say what is going on there. But there's a man died, 4 hurt in the Bermuda apartment block.
Yeah, but of course it's something that we're still looking at to find out, because there are lots of conjectures, of course, but exactly what led to that, the investigations are still going on. Person said they heard a huge boom and the ground shook and there was rattling windows and all of that. And
I think they're saying it's a gas leak. Persons are suspecting at this point, but they're saying it is very early in the investigation, but it appears the explosion was caused by a gas leak, and that's coming from the Detective Chief Inspector Otto Glassford. So most definitely, when I hear Bermuda, I always think Bermuda Triangle. That is just the first thing that always comes to my mind. But
this is like that.
The building codes and all those things are extremely important to follow and guide us, especially when it comes to maintenance of certain things. It's a big issue. I remember visiting a friend, and she was telling me that she was smelling gas, and she's like, but she called in, I think, the landlord to check on the issue, and he quickly saw that, oh, this thing was what the tap was on or something of the sort. But she was telling me, once you get on the phone and you called 911 and say that you're smelling gas, they will shut down the entire block immediately because of
serious.
How the system is interlinked.
And look, the amount of damage that
exactly.
can cause. So, if the building can sustain that kind of damage, the building has been leveled. You imagine what can happen otherwise. And while that's happening, we're tracking some stuff that's happening locally. Folks out there listening to us, watching us, we're tracking some things happening locally. In the last 24 hours, some places have been flooded. We're in that May, June period. We got to prepare for that. And you think we've been doing that, but that is not always the case. That we've been focused on that. And some residents, for instance, in a place called Anchorville, under quarantine, they have been complaining bitterly that it's not only act of God, as we say, in the weather and so on, but some of it is man-made, because people there, like since this government came in, have been just taking up Swaziland, building over drains and that kind of stuff. Is we in power now, and so they've been complaining about that. And also, some of them have been feeling very neglected by the government. So there's that happening on that front, and I wanted to share. We want to share what some folks have been. Some of that complaint, because when you hear it from them, when we say certain things, people say, "Oh, it's them boys, it's them girls,"
But I think persons are slowly trying to step away from that.
Too slow for me. So
they're slowly. No, that's not too slow. It's we appreciate it.
Listen to what some of the folks at Anchorville. Listen to what some of the folks at Anchorville said recently.
As any one of the neighbor this, and so much time them give flood relief, they never give me nothing. And God right now and said land the people to plan back again.
Now, everything may want to come up.
Ask any one of the neighbor this, and so much time them give flood relief, they never give me nothing. And God right now and said land the people to plan back again.
Now, this is from since last year with the flood. And when I talked about this thing here, they say everybody got money. Here again, the flood relief money is coming to surface again. And I think I will have to write the president and the vice president regarding the flood relief, where they claim that everybody received flood relief money. Here, this is live coming from Anchorville. Again, the street drains are being occupied by residents. They put tubing and they get transport for the land, and it's causing this flood. And this is causing the government a lot of money, and the government is actually losing support in this area. It's not a matter of support, but the facilities. Look, right, only the rain fell this morning, and some people kitchen all got water inside. Who is going to pay for the damages for the carpet and everything inside the kitchen? Nobody's going to pay. Last time, the same thing, nobody was compensated for anything. So I'm here.
He said he going to insurance and I'll buy a phone never thought out. Get back everything. I buy last all the house thing and the people is no. He last he get, he last all he went from chicken. And nobody gave him a penny. And you go get in a render downstairs. He not stay there free. And let me tell you, I find this government to be the biggest liar. Betraying the citizens of this country. That's all I have to say.
Now,
I got train line.
Yes, one set of people. One set of people. One set of people. One set of
Me is
people.
the only body I'm going to support the meeting to Anchorville. My ask it 2 light and 50 lights train line there. And me ask it 2 light, 1 light only they give me, and until now the lights not fit yet. And right now me got one neighbor and I live near me there. And go see a water pan here and flood me front.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So that's what's happening at Anchorville. You know, people feel frustrated. They feel as though, 18 months in, 2 years in, the system not working for them on this new administration. Those are some of the thoughts of the resident there.
Okay. I want to say one thing, and persons that know me will know what I'm about to say is that I am absolutely proud of those persons that are beginning to stand up and to speak out, persons that reside in what you would say traditional PPP stronghold locations. And I say I have to continue to commend these people because it shows that the advent of technology and access to information is impacting on their lives, and they are aware of what is going on. So nobody can go and just feed them nonsense, the disinformation.
Yep.
Persons usually go out there and spew to those persons. So those persons are well informed. They understand that they know they deserve better, and more so, they understand the system of corruption that is going on before their very eyes, and they're calling it out. And I continue to commend them, and I encourage persons to continue to do that. If you know persons, if you're joining the program right now and all of that, this is not us versus them. When it comes to the citizens of this country, I put no petition and no division at all. I have a distinct, when it comes to principles, governance altogether, policy making, there are fundamental differences between the way I think and the persons that are in government right now. I believe that resources need to be distributed at a level that everyone would have equal and equitable access to those resources and those things. When it comes to the people of this country, I always say that we have so many overlapping issues and things bothering us that when we realize as a people how this is, we will learn to stand up together and to address these problems collectively, and we will have a change. But congratulations to those persons. They're absolutely correct, spot on with the way in which things are being done. Too many complaints throughout the country when it comes to the distribution of these relief, as they put it over. It is done in the most corrupt manner. Some persons who never see water by their doorstep ever collecting flood relief monies when persons like those people there that are suffering on the flood waters and those things don't have access to those very relief money. So people are learning. And
Correct
they
is
are
right.
speaking
Correct
out.
is right. And you know what? You know, in addition to that, it's frustrating people. Rita, you know what else?
What is that?
GPL.
Well, GPL continues to frustrate
GPL,
people.
Rita. GPL.
GPL continues
Look how
to
many times in
frustrate
the last
people.
year you had power outage.
103 power out. I think they're a little underestimated.
Trisha.
I think this is I don't think that's an
No, but
accurate
think about
number.
it.
How
Think-
many days in a
think-
year? How
that's
many
what I'm thinking about.
days in the year, Sharon?
That's what I'm thinking
How
about.
many days in the
It's every
year?
other day.
It's every other day is a blackout.
It's a blackout. Or if you look at it another way, it's 3 months straight.
Mm-hmm.
You're in darkness. Producing Republic. 3 months straight, you're in darkness.
That's more than 3
Folks,
months.
can you
too.
imagine that?
That's
This
over
is the
3
local
months.
scene.
This
This
is the
is
local
brewing.
scene.
Uh,
GPL. And again, this goes back to I have to repeat.
Oh, Lord
I have
of
to
mercy.
repeat myself.
Lord of mercy. Who's sharing the live stream?
You took out the expert and you put in someone there that have absolutely knowledge or interest more so.
Absolutely
as to-
no knowledge. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? As to what should and
Yeah,
could be
yeah.
done to
We're
actually
different.
improve that system. So that's
We're
the
different.
result of that, you know.
Folks,
But-
this is thing to share. Look where it's 103 power outages last year. 103. Right? 103. Right? 103. Wow.
Yes, guys. Like, and the time runs out so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, we've been in so much discussion
Yeah.
this morning as our
It's we
preparation
time.
for
We can pay for it.
going as our preparation for going forward. But guys, I know that as you are here this morning, I'd be encouraging you to make sure that you share the live stream so persons can get the information so that the woman that you just saw in the video and persons like herself will be better able to understand what is going on and how resources are being spent in our country. So they will be able to stand up and speak, not just to speak what they're seeing, but with an in-depth understanding of what the root cause of these issues are.
Yeah. And talking about that, I love Uncle Sam. When Uncle Sam he coming for you, Rita, like for
Yes.
Andrew Foy, he coming for you. So this was a fellow who had been on the run for about over a decade. And Troy Thomas was found guilty after he was extradited from the US. He was hiding out here. He was extradited to the US, and he was found guilty over the last 24 hours for a murder that he had committed in the US there. Right? And everybody's coming hiding. You had Mr. Gali Khan in the private sector commission, who was a elections observer for the PPP. Right?
You remember the name? I didn't remember.
And
the
as
name,
soon
but I knew that
as soon as
story very well.
he was finished,
Mhm.
you know, observing the US fly out,
the US.
right?
Yep.
So this fellow, justice. Sometimes it takes a long time, but sometimes it does happen. And so he's gonna be spending the next he can spend a little while in Rockers Island. I never want go Rockers Island. You're too young for another one.
I do not know that.
You're too-
Most definitely.
You're too young to know that one. Who know it? Who know? So that's happening on that front, folks. And we got some other things happening that we want to share with you as well. But this one here, folks, God is Guyanese. He walks with us and he talks with us. This one here, Twitter. I know you got children going to school. This way you can cry this kid.
What is that? Oh, I saw it.
Child went to school with a snake in her boot.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, these are
Not
things
any
that,
snake, though. Not a water snake.
yeah,
A labaria
yeah.
in her boot.
One of the most poisonous.
God was on her side.
Yeah. I don't know.
She didn't get
how.
right.
No, she didn't.
God was I mean, like, a lot of things flash to mind here because, I mean, there's a child this week going to put on a boots and head to school. Right? I know about hitting out shoes, irrespective if you shoot in the house or out the house. You don't know what crowd unless shoot during the course of the night. Whether you shoot inside or outside.
Gotcha.
When you're going out, just knock out your shoe. Just in case. Just in case. Right? So, unless this child prepares to go to school by him or herself, you know, that's another story by itself. But how does a child go to school with a labaria in the shoe? Oh, God, be different. I'm not going to be shoe more bad. I'm not going to be shoe more bad now. Jurita, over to you.
Well, what I can say about this,
A labaria.
what I can say about that particular and that there is that I always tell people, you don't ever just put on your shoes just like that, because as it is, the shoe, the basic design of your shoe is like things can, anything that's crawling could
and
go
like
cuddle up.
those dark spaces and must be a little warmth and so on. I know it's interesting because the other day somebody was pointing out there were some students in a school in the interior and they were wearing no shoes. I can see right now.
But persons need to do that only a few days ago. I saw my boyfriend put on his shoe and he just like pushes. But I was like, how do you do that? You have to. It's just within my makeup, like how I was trained. Is you always just knock it together, knock it out, as you say.
Outside the door, but you put it on, you don't see the shoe together.
Just make sure that nothing is there.
Sure, and the barrier is not inside.
Exactly.
I mean, there is that. Make sure the barrier is not inside. You all see that?
Yes.
The barrier in the child's shoe. And but the most interesting part is that she wasn't harmed.
Well, as
if
said,
that's not miracle,
God is on her side. God was
James,
on her side.
Andres, and Glenford Garden, right? Diane Mitchell, Natasha Congraves, Sandra Hola, who said God is good, and the barrier. And that's a deadly snake.
Most definitely.
Right? God said I can watch you this morning. Kiddo, I got you this morning. That's what God got some of you,
But we're very thankful for that child was not harmed. And we say to be more careful, especially when it comes to where you store your footwear and those things also, and make sure that when you're putting on your footwear, those little things we take for granted, especially for folks. Let me just say, when it comes to this particular weather with rain and all of that, when there's a lot of creepy crawly things, maybe looking for warmth and a dry place to be. So be very careful how you operate in this time. Yes.
Look at your shoe.
Yes. And as we move on to the big issue, guys.
Big issue, Julia.
The big issue. As it is right
Story here now.
Right? The PPP regime and the press freedom, guys. Now I think that this is something that was ventilated in our affiliate program in the ring last evening, and I have to say that a lot of things been circulating on social media as it pertains to how and who is speaking on behalf of the press.
As a matter of fact, one of the issues I want to raise here, Rita, with your kind permission, is the fact that emblazoned across the Chronicle newspaper, the state newspaper this morning, Ali is saying that he is supporting. I believe in the full freedom of the press.
Correct.
I believe in the full freedom of the press. That's what he's stating. But believe it or not, these are the folks who have not had a cabinet press briefing forever.
Yeah, well, and that's one of the things
that's important.
That's one of the things I want to talk about because when it comes to that, I also see an article. Article actually circulating somewhere that says that he's also saying that cabinet press briefings will post cabinet press briefings will be back soon. And I just want to remind persons, this is something we'll be talking about from day one, the fact that this is something the persons were accustomed to. Persons go in there, the elected officials that's there to serve the people go in and make decisions, and we don't know what those decisions are at all, because they completely remove that aspect of post-cabinet press briefings that the coalition had in place. So most definitely that is something that should not be a conversation or will be back soon. And all of that. It should have never been removed in the first place.
Richard, these were some of the same folks who rapped Mr. Granger lots of time for not, being accessible to the press or not having many press conferences as a head of state. But they have not, because here is a situation where you get to question the administration on contracts that are given out, or the administration tells the nation contracts were given out, and to who, right? Correct. But you see, with that non-functioning procurement commission, you won't want to be able to,
probably that's why they're saying that it's going to come back, because the procurement commission, the only thing left to be done is for Ifranali to actually appoint the members. That's the only thing.
I wonder why that's so difficult.
That's the last thing left to be done. So
right. One wonders.
Yeah, most definitely.
Right. So there is
But
that.
PSC actually have to will be dealing with another aspect of that when it is up and functioning. So what I want to also that persons I'm actually doing PSC today. You know, today guys we had a holiday on Monday, so I have PSC today. So
Going on?
a lot of pertinent questions to be asked and at that level.
So I see the administration also launched a media academy. That might not be the actual name of it, but
yes,
there is that happening.
cannot remember the name of that. Oh goodness!
And it's a media academy.
Yes, I think there's 100 and something persons to benefit that's already registered.
It's interesting about who, has been placed as the point person even for that, because Mr. McCoy himself.
Yeah, and persons have an issue. I saw, and I have to say this, I saw something circulating with that particular heading that spoke about that, and a comment, very interesting comment that came after it. I'm literally scrolling through, trying to see if I can pull it up, but I'm not seeing it right now. But it was a very interesting comment that was circulating with Mr. McCoy's photograph.
The comment was that these are the same folks, who assaulted a journalist. In the most worst way.
Correct.
Right? Throwing fecal matter in his face.
Yeah.
These were the folks who talk on press freedom who suspended ads to Sabbath News because they didn't like Sabbath News coverage of them. There was one minister in that very government who, when a protester went to a meeting and did what protesters do, threatened to strip and slap same folks.
Yeah.
Same folks who banned Gordon Mosley. From press conferences because they didn't like the line of questioning.
The track record basically says that they have absolutely no interest in press freedom.
And it's the same folks also who railed against Isabella Young.
Well, we can say like a lot of things that you're saying. People could say that, oh well, they're in office now and they may do differently. I want to just
those are things were in office.
No, I'm talking about
Isabella Young
now.
was in office.
No, well, Isabella Young is now. But I want to say that also that when it comes to what went on recently, persons would remember that in December with the whole issue with the bill in the National Assembly that no one wanted, that they didn't want to consult on, and there was the whole issue in the National Assembly between government and opposition in the way that went down. And a lot of things came out that evening, but one of the most profound things that I took note of is the fact that the press, specifically persons from DPI, the Department of Public Information that's been paid by taxpayers, they were instructed not to interview any of the opposition members of parliament. So when those are the actions of, and those instructions came right there from that very individual. And when those are the action that is played out right before your eyes, nobody could come and say that they want press freedom and they
this is what
freedom
is saying
press
this morning. I believe in the full freedom of the press.
They believe in nice headlines in newspapers, but when it comes when the rubber hit the road and when they're put to the task contesting for those words, they feel miserably.
But you know what?
Time.
As you wrap up, Irfan Ali, he is going to go down as that kind of person. Who says one thing
and does the other,
and his government does something totally different.
But he may have different intentions,
right? Because he didn't realize what's happening. He think he's steering the ship, but the ship going in that direction, and he pointing north, and the ship going, southwest. That's the challenge we have. But good to have each and every one of you folks, guys. That's our program for today. Good to have you guys. And enjoy, please. We're back with Below the Belt at 12, and we're in the ring at 8. But we're not going to be on tomorrow for FYI because tomorrow is a national holiday here. It's a rival day. We ask you guys to reflect on where you came from, how y'all come, who bring y'all, if you come by yourself. Reflect on that, folks, and be thankful too. Be thankful. We all came from somewhere. We all belong to somebody.
I would be interested in how we move forward, especially when it comes to freedom of press and the integration and the evolution of press altogether, especially when it comes to social media and the way in which information is actually disseminated here. Well, you hit the nail on the head, but that's a discussion that we're definitely going to be continuing as things unfold.
Guys, we can't do these programs without you, so we encourage you to, of course, share the live stream, smash that emoji button, guys. Share. Hundreds of you watching us. Smash that emoji button before you go. Share the live stream, and of course, partner with us. We got Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, MMG, available via MoneyGram, via Western Union, all for your convenience. You want to know how, you need some guidance and how you can partner with us in this way. 627-6963. That's the number.
I got it.
627-6963 is that number. And we give you any guidance that you need. That's our time for today, guys. Judy has to head to another aspect of our work.
Yes, I have PAC
PAC,
this morning.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, I completely.
And wish her well.
I'm here doing the program,
Wish her
but if
well,
I
dear.
don't remind myself, so
Wish you well, dear.
I have to go. Have a good day, guys. Make sure to join at 12 for Below the Belt, and then again at 8 p.m. for In the Ring, because you know you're not going to be seeing us tomorrow, so you got to soak it all up today.
Yeah.
And then I'll see you
Savor.
again on Friday morning.
Savor.
Yes.
See you guys soon. That's our time.
Bye.